Well, hey there everybody. Today I am going to show you how to make this wood round painted sign with permanent vinyl. This is going to be a Christmas sign, but you could apply this to any type of wood sign that you might want to do. The concept will be very similar. I am going to be featuring my paper poinsettias here on the sign today, so if you would like to learn how to make these exact poinsettias, there is a link below that in a separate video tutorial that will show you how to build these poinsettia flowers. In this tutorial, we're going to be focusing on adding the vinyl to the sign and what I do for that aspect. The supplies you're going to need is going to be a Cricut machine and a Cricut mat, of course. You can use a Cricut Maker or Cricut Explorer. You could even use the Joy if you're doing a smaller sign. So if it's something that can fit within a 4.5 inch width, you could use the Joy machine as well. You're also going to need a wood round. You can find these wood rounds on online like Amazon or other places like that. Hobby stores have them. I'm going to be spraying mine black, but that's completely up to you. You could leave it natural, you could do it a different color. I'm just using a chalkboard paint here, a nice matted black finish. I did make this sign without sealing the paint, but if you have any concerns about the paint coming up when you add that vinyl on with the transfer tape, you could consider a clear acrylic sealer as well. You'll also need your permanent white vinyl. I do recommend using permanent for best results. I use the Cricut brand, but there's lots of other brands out there that you can use as well. You'll need a weeding tool and a Cricut scraper, in addition to, of course, your Cricut mat as well. I'll also be adding a little bit of a ribbon up at the top, but that is completely optional. So like I said, you can get these poinsettia templates and more information on those in the video below, and this file here I am giving away for free on my blog, and you can find more information about that below as well. So let's go ahead and get started on this craft.
So I've loaded up my designs in Cricut Design Space. It's ready to be cut out, and my machine is prompting me to go ahead and load the mat with the white permanent vinyl. So it's going to go ahead and just cut my design out here. Now I've scaled this to match the size of my sign, so that's going to depend on your wood round. Mine was 15 inches, so I ended up doing an 11.5 inch wide design, so there was a little bit of grace on each side. Again, measure your sign and then just give yourselves probably at least 2 inches around the side. Once the cut is done, I removed it from the mat in the Cricut machine, and I'm going to just weed the design. Because this design is rather large, it's quite easy to weed and it didn't take very long at all. If you would like this SVG cut file as well as the poinsettia designs, then you can find links for those below. You can get access to all of my templates at members.abbikirstencollections.com. Okay, so once I finish weeding this design, then we're just going to cut down a piece of transfer tape that is to size, so make sure you cut enough transfer tape to cover the entire design. I'm just using a standard grip transfer tape here. You don't have to use a heavy, strong grip, just a standard grip is fine. And the design is a little hard to see because it's on white, but what I like to do with large design is I let the transfer tape fall to the center first and then press from the center outward. And you'll want to burnish the front as well as the back. So take your Cricut scraper and just go over and burnish the design really well. And burnishing is just a fancy term for rubbing the design. Again, make sure you do it on the back. If you have any trouble getting things to transfer to the transfer tape, it's very important to also burnish the back, not just the front. And I recommend lifting the liner away from the transfer tape, not the transfer tape away from the liner. Okay, now it's time to place our design. I'm just relifting this from the liner here. And I'm just going to hold the design over my wood round until I feel like it is centered to my eye. There's not a huge trick to this. You could mark the center with a pencil if you want, but ultimately it's just sort of placing it to where it looks even to your eye. And then you're going to burnish that on the design onto the wood round with your Cricut scraper as well. Make sure you go over all of those details really well before you try removing the transfer tape. Go nice and slow when removing the transfer tape. If anything is lifting, make sure you lay it back down, burnish it again, and then go slow as you're lifting it up. Now I had no problems whatsoever with paint coming up. I coated my wood round twice, so there was no issues whatsoever. However, if you are using a different type of paint other than spray paint, you may want to consider doing a clear acrylic sealer before you add the vinyl. That way the transfer tape does not lift any paint off. As you can see here, I'm not having any trouble with that, but that's just something that you can keep in mind. If you experience that issue, then a clear acrylic spray sealer going over the paint before you add the vinyl will solve that problem. Now to finish my sign, I'm going to be adding some paper poinsettias. I have an entire separate video on the process of cutting and making these paper poinsettias. So if you would like to know how to make these exact designs, then you can follow that link below in the video description. And I have these templates available as well below in the video description. So just follow that video link to learn how to build the poinsettias in a separate video. And I've just decided to put 2 clusters of 3 here on the sign. Really, it's up to your preference, and if you want to add something different to the sign, or you don't want to do paper flowers but you want to add like silk flowers, then that would be a great alternative as well. Just something to sort of decorate the sign and really make the colors pop. I think the white, the black, and the red looks very Christmassy together and is a nice combination of colors and style. I'm also adding some additional holly greenery and some pine needles here. Again, I am going to link where you can get those templates below in the video description. They are all available on members.abbikirstencollections.com. I have several different poinsettia designs even outside of this one if you want to check out some of the other variations, as well as many other flower template variations that you could add to wood signs and wood rounds, even during other seasons, to make, you know, signs for other seasons, maybe for spring and summer and fall and all of that. I'm using my hot glue here to place everything on. I think hot glue is best because it grabs to the wood very quickly, very easily, and I haven't had any issues with anything coming off. So I do recommend just going with a high temp hot glue gun. I love the Surebonder brand. Now this is completely optional, but I decided to add a black and white striped small bow to the top of my sign here, just to kind of give it a top center finishing point. And you can omit this if you want, or do something a little bit different if you would like. I just purchased a ribbon and made a very small bow that I place up here at the top with some hot glue, just to finish the top of my sign off. And that's it, our sign is complete. We can go and set this on a mantle, or we could hang it up. You can add a little like hanger to the back by just using either some wood glue or some Gorilla Glue. And I'm just gonna be setting this on a mantle, so I don't need to worry about adding a hanger, but if you did, then that's what I would recommend. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much, and Merry Christmas.